Well, good morning, everybody. It's the dog on a picture-perfect Monday here in the Finger Lakes, here on FingerLakes1.com. Another edition of Weber on Sports is upon you. I'd like to say hi to a good friend of mine who checks out this show every week, Danny Harry Rosada from Waterloo. Harry, a big race fan and an excellent golfer. I think he's playing to like a 2 or 3 handicap lately. Danny, if you're checking out the dog this morning, we welcome you as a good viewer of this show. Lots to talk about. Man, do we have topics to talk about. But what a picture-perfect day to invite and welcome all the ladies, all the gals coming into Seneca Falls. Isn't that ironic? The Home of Women's Rights, a signature event taking place at the nearby Seneca Falls Country Club as we welcome the 2012 New York State Women's Amateur and Mid-Am. Practice rounds will take place today. We'll have much more details on this event later in the show, but welcome to all the contestants playing for the New York State Women's Amateur, Junior Am, and, of course, the Mid-Am. Lots of action, lots to talk about. We'll get to more details, but we would just want to say welcome to all the families and friends and the contestants, the participants, that'll be striking the golf ball for real starting tomorrow morning. We'll get more details later in the program. Well, if you like the terminology of back by Chris Berman, you're going to be in Glory City tonight as we switch to All-Star Game break. It's, of course, not the All-Star Game tonight. It's the legendary Home Run Derby, when these guys from both the National League and American League hit baseballs out of the park. It's supposed to be nice and warm in Kansas City, which means the ball will fly even further. I'm not going to bother you with the details of who's actually competing tonight, but Chris Berman will be making the call, the legendary Boomer. And, of course, you'll be hearing back, I guess, 7,000 times tonight as home runs fly out of Kansas City's park. 8 o'clock, ESPN. If you're into watching home runs fly out of ballparks, definitely a must-see with Chris Berman making the call. And, of course, tomorrow night, the All-Star Game being played. And for many years, people wondered why they even had one. A lot of the people getting selected don't even participate. They come up with ridiculous injuries not to participate. To me, if I was a baseball player, I would want to get selected to be an All-Star, and I would want to go to the host city to show my wares. And I got to give credit to Bud Selig, who I can't stand as commissioner. He's been in that office way too long. He should have retired, 6 years ago? But I got to give him at least one bit of credit. And that, therefore, the winner of the All-Star Game has home field advantage in the upcoming World Series. So at least they do play for something. So the winner of the All-Star Game will have home field advantage, whether that be the National League or the American League. And, of course, that can be seen, tomorrow night, All-Star Game from Kansas City. You know, I was thinking as we make the halfway break in the world of baseball, a lot of surprising teams. I'll get to a couple of them in just a minute. But there are some god-awful baseball teams that, really never have a chance to compete. They're so woeful that you just have to kind of laugh and just chagrin, say, why even bother? How about Seattle? Seattle Mariners, 16 out. I'm approximating how many games are out, but they're just a horrible team. Seattle, what does that remind you of? Starbucks? That's about it, folks. How about Philadelphia? Are they playing lousy baseball? I know Ryan Howard just came back from being injured for like 9 to 10 months, but they're just playing god-awful baseball. A team that usually wins that division with a lot of ease is now some 16 games behind the Washington Nationals. How much money would you have put up on that proposition? So the Phillies are struggling. They're just a god-awful team at this stage. Houston, we have a problem. The problem is they play suck baseball every year. They're never in the hunt. Shut them down. And how about Colorado? Good for skiing, right? Not baseball. Yeah, I know they had their year or two a few years ago. They're just a god-awful team. And San Diego. 75-degree mean temperature every day of the year. That's the come on for me to go to San Diego. Not to watch the Padres. I'm still shell-shocked that Phil Mickelson wants to invest several of his $1 million into buying that team with a consortium. They're still working on the details. Why bother, Phil? Put your money somewhere else, Throw it over a bridge. They're just a god-awful team. And yes, there are 2 baseball teams that I'm going to expand some thoughts on this morning. I'm being asked by my good buddies Bill Owen and Mike Cotillo, the executive editor of the Finger Lakes Times, to get warm and fuzzy about the Bucks of Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Pirates. They want me to have my hair stand up on my arm. They want the sweat come off the dog's hair and the dog's brow. They want me to get excited about the Pirates. This is the first time in I don't know how many years they've led that division after the first half has been completed. I don't think so. They have not invested a dime. Their best player is McCutchen. Yeah, he's a good player. But is he good enough to make that team a playoff team? I don't think so. They haven't spent a dime in 21 years. They have had a losing record for 21 straight years. Why do you think 2012 is going to be any different? Yeah, they've had a couple of surges. Big deal. But if you're asking me, Mike Cotillo, and also Billy Owen, two of my favorite pals who are Pittsburgh Pirate fans, to get warm and fuzzy, and for me to hearken back to the days of Willie Stargell and the likes of Roberto Clemente, I can't go there. I'm sorry. The Pirates are a meaningless, irrelevant team. Yes, they've made history, but it's only a half. Remember, folks, a Weber line. Write it down. The opera's not over till the fat lady sings. The fat lady is nowhere to be seen. Come on. I'm sorry, Cotillo. I'm sorry, Owen. The Pirates are still losers in my book, and we'll prove it in the second half of the year. And I know Terry Collins is getting all this ink about the manager of the year for the Mutts, a.k.a. the Mets. Charlie Lee, my buddy. A lot of you fans are big Mets fans. I got to give you respect. But that's all I'm going to give you. I'm still not convinced they're for real. They ended the All-Star break, 5 or 6 out in the loss column to the Nationals? Okay. They've overachieved for the first half. But it's 2 halves. And oh, by the way, before you expect me to think the Mets are going to make the playoffs in 2012, hold your horses. Can we talk facts here? Please, let's talk facts. Let's discuss what the Mets are. Here's a team that you want me to believe is a playoff team for 2012. I'll buy that. You know what? I'm going to rebut your argument. A couple of weeks ago, they were in Chicago, taking on one of the worst teams in baseball, the Cubbies. Would you agree with that? If you nod your head yes, go like this. If you don't agree with me, go like this. The Cubbies are one of the worst teams in baseball. Well, they were in Chicago, and they lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubbies. Big deal. Then they went and played L.A., a great team, the Dodgers, and they won 3 out of 4 against Kershaw and company. Okay, I'm one of these guys that's very anal about stats. I never forget them. You know why? Because guess who came to town this weekend to play the Mets at Citi Field? The most worthless team in the world, the Cubbies. How did the Mets do at home? They lost 2 out of 3 again. So you're expecting the dog to embrace the Mets as a playoff team when they can't knock off the Cubs in a series? Not only one series, they lost 2 within 2.5 weeks. Give me a break, folks. I don't feel the love for the Mets. I'm sorry. Let's go from the world of baseball to the world of tennis. 2012 Wimbledon is now in the books. As expected, Serena Williams won it for the ladies. Kudos to her. She's got game. She's had a lot of issues off the court, but she's got a lot of tennis game. Kudos if you're a Serena Williams fan. And yes, there was speculation that British citizen, namely Andy Murray, could do something that hasn't been done since 1936, and that's win a Wimbledon final. The crowd was in his favor. They were going ballistic. I watched most of that on Sunday. Guess what? Let me tell you something. Murray wins the first set against Roger Federer. And goodbye. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, Andy Murray. I don't care if you got 8 million people pulling for you. You got to have the game to compete with the greatest. Federer is one of the greatest. He polishes them off in 4 sets. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, Andy Murray. The reason is he's not in the same class as Roger Federer. Federer winning his 7th Wimbledon, his 17th major. Andy Murray will have to wait for another brighter day. You know, I talked about this topic, and it involves Farmington and involves Finger Lakes Racetrack and Casino. Maybe you've attended there to try to play the slots or gone up there to bet on the horses. I talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've been tracking the horses as I watch them on Channel 12. I just like to watch the racing as a soothing experiment. I very seldom bet on the horses at Finger Lakes, but I just watch them. One thing I've noticed, they continue to throw at the horse bettors, the people that go every day to bet on the races. They throw a lot of less than $4 win opportunities, meaning a lot of the 1 to 9, 4 to 5, 1 to 4. A lot of those nags are winning these races. Why do I bring that up? Because horse bettors, the real horsemen, and I'm not one of them, want something of more exciting opportunities. They don't like going up and betting $10 on a horse to win and the horse pay $3.20. They get tired of that. They want more even fields, more horses in the field, more opportunities to get a $10 winner, a $12 winner, and yeah, once in a while, a $30 winner. That gets old when you start paying $3.20, $3.10, $2.90, $2.80 when you have to invest $2. I had a chance to talk to Chris Regal, the general manager there, years ago about his operation. I never brought up the fact that he's got to figure out some way to do with a horseman, but he's got to figure out a way to get more nags into these races and pay off better prices. I understand chalks are going to win once in a while, but do they have to win 65% of the time? Finger Lakes Racetrack needs to take a look at that. There's way too many less than $4 winners, and that will turn off the bettor in a heartbeat. Well, let's talk about some golf. Kunchi Chow, Mitso Ho, Ryu Ru. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Korean golfers. Currently, there are 48 Korean golfers on the LPGA. Or should I call it the Korean Golf Association? It's downright embarrassing. The Korean ladies are handing us our butts. Do I like diversity? Absolutely. Do I like dominance? No, thank you. Hoon Chi Mao, yesterday's winner of the prestigious Women's Open, a young lady named Na Yen Choi. She collapsed on the 10th hole of par 5. She took a triple. Everybody thought, well, she's opening up the window. She slammed it shut. She wins by 5 or 6 going bye-bye. Amy Yang finished the second, another South Korean golfer. My point is, folks, we love diversity. We love the world. But I'm telling you, they might not want to let all these ladies keep coming in from the South Korea land because guess what? They're killing us Americans. It should be called the South Korean Ladies Golf Association. It's downright embarrassing. If you're a USA citizen, that is. Well, how about the Greenbrier? The legendary Greenbrier. They get Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods to tee it up. Both missed the cut. I'm going to ask you a question. If I gave you an opportunity to take all the revenues that you and your wife and family can muster up, let's say you can muster up $300,000. Somehow, some way, you've got a lot of money in the bank. You cash out your 401k, you cash out your bonds, and I say to you, give me all your resources. And you say, okay, Harold, I got $310,000 for the Seneca family. Let's use Jimmy as a good example. Jimmy, you and Kathleen, Jackie, and your family are going to roll that money across the table, and here's the proposal. You give me every nickel you're worth as a family. And all you have to do, I'm giving you 2 golfers, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods. Tiger, by the way, has won 3. They've won a lot of majors together. Phil's won 1. And all you got to do with those 2 celebrated great golfers is to beat a guy who is 62 years of age, Tom Watson. That's all you got to do. I'm giving you Woods and Mickelson. The Seneca family has given me $302,000. One of those guys beats a Watson, which is going to happen. You double your money. You got $604,000. Guess what? Jimmy will be going up to social services today, signing up for food stamps. Fingerlakes1.com will be turning off their lights. Why is that? Because Watson beat Mickelson and Woods. You talk about odds. How about a zillion to 1 for that to happen? And it did. Both Phil and Tiger down the road after 2 rounds. Watson blew up yesterday with a 5-over round, but he beat Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods. Think about that for a while, folks. And I got to tell you something. The USGA is going to try to enhance the game of golf for people to have more fun because a lot of their rules are stupid. I think one of the dumbest rules is what happened to Mickelson. Mickelson, trying to make the cut on Friday, had about a 12-foot putt, and he went up to mark it. He went up to mark his ball, And he did. And as soon as he tried to mark his golf ball, his coin fell out of his hand by accident. Inadvertently fell out of Phil's right hand. What did it do? It hit the golf ball. What did it do to the golf ball? It moved it 1/1,000,000th of an inch. True story. This happened Friday at the Greenbrier. It moved it that much. You know what that is? You got to return the ball to its original place, and you got to add a shot, a one-stroke penalty. If that is not the dumbest, stupidest rule in the game of golf, I'm not sure what is. That's inadvertently. Is Phil trying to gain an advantage by moving his ball 1/1,000,000th of an inch? Of course not. It was an accident. He had the coin in his hand. It slipped. It hit the ball. Come on, folks. Now you might want to know why attendance is down, participation is down. They're trying to come up with new ways, like throw it out of the bunker, like tee off 70 yards from these greens. They may want to rethink some of those rules, because that one there, folks, has to be one of the dumbest I've ever heard of. Well, this isn't dumb. We're happy and thrilled to have a great bunch of sponsors that sponsor this show. And we want to take a break and let you see who these sponsors are that make Weber on Sports a reality every Monday morning here on FingerLakes1.com, 9:30, as live as the dog can be. Let's take a break. We'll come back with much more after this. Welcome back, everybody. It's the dog in the kennel with you on a Monday morning Weber on Sports live presentation here on FingerLakes1.com in beautiful Seneca Falls, New York. And by the way, I've been following this young man. Of course, he's a Lions guy. I was born in Lions. My buddy Bob Oman's a Lions guy. Of course, the owner, along with his wife Leslie of the Newark Pilots. We watched Derrickk Fera participate and play hard as a great pitcher for Lions. What did he do? He got the second team status All-State for baseball. What? Derrickk Fera, in my judgment, and it's strictly my judgment, he was wobbed, okay? He was wobbed, as Bugs Bunny would say. This young phenom deserved, in my opinion, first-team recognition. How do you get first-team state based on what Derrickk Fera did this year? How about record for most wins in Section 5 history with 37? He led Lions to a sectional title. He led Lions to a state tourney play-in win and a berth in the Far West Regional Championship game where they just got nipped at the wire. If Derrickk Fera, that phenomenal pitcher of Lions, is not deserving of number one team of New York State baseball, then give up that award, baby. Rip up the paperwork and move on. That young man was wobbed. Well, Derrickk Fera, all of us from FingerLakes1.com and Weber on Sports, to us, you're number one to us. Phenomenal year. You were robbed. I know you're a shy, humble guy, but I'm going to speak up for you. You should have made first team All-State. Let's move to the world of NBA basketball. Some moves taking place in the NBA. Some kind of got me excited. Some are kind of boring, and why bother? How about the Knicks? You know, Knicks were rumored to be in line to maybe grab Steve Nash. He didn't come to the Knicks. They picked up Jason Kidd. You know, I liked Jason Kidd when he was 10 years younger. Jason Kidd, to me, looks old, plays old, and I don't see him helping the Knicks one iota. Sorry about that. That's just my opinion. Jason Kidd coming to New York, Madison Square Garden. On a scale of 1 to 20, I give it a 1. How about the Lakers, though? Give the Lakers credit. Kobe Bryant and Steve Nash joined the NBA in 1996 together. Obviously, they didn't play on the same team. They now will play on the same team. To me, Steve Nash is up there in age, but he doesn't play old like a Jason Kidd. I think it was an outstanding move by the Laker organization, bringing Nash in to work with Kobe Bryant. And how about the Heat? What an awesome move. The defending NBA champions. Who do they pick up? One of the most prolific three-point shooters in NBA history, a guy named Ray Allen. What a beautiful move by the Heat. That, to me, they were favorites to repeat next year in the NBA to win it all. I just think that increased their odds picking up Ray Allen. What a dynamite move. You got LeBron and Wade, Bosh, and now you add Ray Allen. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, good night. And of course, Celtics, my buddy Dave Barnick, who I get a chance to work with for baseball action coming up this Wednesday with the Amsterdam game over in Newark. Dave's a longtime lover of the Celtics. David, I hate to tell you this, buddy, I love you like a brother. The Celtics are old, decrepit, and guess what? I got to use the Weber term, the Weber word. They are irrelevant. I hate to tell you, David, it's bye-bye Celtics. They're going to need at least 5 to 7 years to rekindle the youth of that organization. They're not going to get there with Pierce and Garnett, especially losing a talent like Ray Allen. Well, the Derrick Pilots baseball team, we're looking forward to being there tonight. We got more action. They got a big homestand coming up this week. And tonight they take on Watertown, and FingerLakes1.com will be there tonight in Newark. Broadcast time of our webcast will be around 7 o'clock. And, of course, we all talked about how great their ballpark is. So check us out tonight. Come to the ballpark and watch the game live. It's going to be a beautiful evening. And we are looking forward to really having some fun tonight over in Newark as I team up with Brendan Harrington and company. Talk a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. Let me switch over before we talk about the women's AM that are at Seneca Falls right now, and I'm sure some of the participants are hitting shots as we speak. Jim was down early today at the club. They're working on the practice greens. No doubt they are, some of them on the golf course, testing their skills, getting ready for action, which gets underway tomorrow morning. But I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate Jimmy Panic and Jeff Good, who won the championship flight at the 2012 two-man scramble. That's a legendary tournament at the famed Dutch Hollow Country Club in Owasco this weekend with a 36-hole total of 123. Now, that's some golfing. That's a 62 on Saturday. And would they come back with on Sunday? Can you say 61? Not bad. To secure the victory, Jeff knocked a wedge to about 6 feet, and Jimmy rolled into birdie on the final hole of the tournament to win by 1. Not a bad victory with over 100 teams entered. Congratulations goes out to Jimmy Panic and Jeff Good from Weber on Sports. My buddy Jim Senacropi and his buddy Jeremy Hunter, ace cameraman, also entered in the event. And I was asking how they did. Menza. They didn't bring home a lot of cash, but they had a good time. And I guess that's all important. Staying on the world of golf, staying at the Seneca Falls Country Club, my buddy Ben Wong on the 7th hole, downhill par 3. I guess it plays $180 to 200 yards, depending on where they put the tee markers. Benny aced the 7th hole on Saturday with a 5-iron. Congratulations to Benny Wong from Weber on Sports for a spectacular hole-in-one this past Saturday, number 7 at Seneca Falls Country Club with a 5-iron. Well, we talked about the women's AM and the junior AM underway, and of course they're going to be practicing today. Some 61 entries. Here's a little bit of the menu for you to engulf. Tomorrow morning, today is practice round. You can go down there and check out the ladies as they practice, no doubt, watch them hit shots. But tomorrow the action really gets underway with first round coverage off number 1 and number 10, starting around 8 a.m. They will play both days, Tuesday and Wednesday, both off the 1st and 10th tees. After Wednesday's competition, they will cut to the low 40 and ties, and anybody within 10 shots of the lead, whether it be the junior AM competition or the mid-am, 10 shots of the lead, you can play again on Thursday, which is the final round. FingerLakes1.com Sports will be there, and we're going to go on the air around 10 a.m. on Thursday. We have a great show planned for you, tons of interviews, lots of video coverage. We're going to be talking to the USGA officials, Bob Fuller, Kevin Muirhead, Jimmy Wild Williams will be down there. We'll talk to him, Carol Ganzon, the president. This is a big event for Seneca Falls Country Club. We should embrace it, and which we are going to. And as a member, we are thrilled to have the New York State Women's Am and Mid-Am here this coming week. Reminder, if you go down to check out the ladies Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, you're invited. They're going to be a little surprise for you when you check in the pro shop. You can have yourself a sandwich or a beverage from our bar and restaurant. But keep in mind, if you're going to go out and watch the ladies play and watch them play, no carts will be allowed for you to take. You'll have to walk on the golf course and actually, as they do on regular PGA Tour events, follow the action via foot, not via carts. Carts obviously won't be allowed because if you're like the dog, you'll start the cart when somebody's in the backswing of trying to hit a 5-iron. So please come down and support the 2012 New York State Women's Am Mid-Am. The 83rd edition is right now going underway with practice rounds taking place as I get ready to wrap up this show. We are looking forward to it. And we are putting together a good team. Jimmy Seneca will be the producer and director. We have myself as the studio host. The commentary will be handled by Arthur Lyons. He will give the Nick Faldo attitude. I like that. I'm going to play the Jim Nance role for about 6 hours. We also got Bobby LaPrade helping us out, and we also got our ace cameraman, Jeremy Hunt, if he's not too much suntan from doing 2 baseball games tonight and Wednesday night. So our crew will be down there at Seneca Falls Country Club broadcasting live from 10 a.m. until around 3:30 or 4 o'clock. We'll stay on the air all during that duration with interviews, video, leaderboard updates. So please join us and come in and say hello as we broadcast live from Seneca Falls Country Club this coming Thursday, airtime around 10 a.m. Tiffany Collinsworth may be joining us doing her updates. She talks about the Finger Lakes, what's new and exciting. She may come down and take her show via that broadcast as well. And by the way, Thursday night, 31st lap, after our remote from the Seneca Falls Country Club, Chris Marcourt will take the equipment up to the Amy's Checkered Flag. It's a big night. Block party. Bobby Ellison, Magic Shoes, Mike McLaughlin expected to be in Waterloo with other drivers. Chris Marcourt and his team will be broadcasting live from Amy's Checkered Flag. That should be a lot of fun as well. And don't forget, Dog and Paulie coming up Wednesday. Speaking of golf, we'll talk via the phone to Scott Bissell, my longtime buddy from Geneva, who's a member of the Geneva Country Club. Why is Scott coming on the air? To talk about the Geneva City Golf Championship, which has some 40-some years of history. He'll be here via phone to talk about how that tournament is shaping up as that gets ready to get underway in a few days or maybe a week and a half or so. And we have a call in to Jeff Cunyon, the president of the Perfect Game Baseball League. Jeff, the embattled president who got ripped to shreds by 2 council members of Geneva City Council with the names of D'Amico and Greco, who took him over the coals for his involvement with Geneva and the council, and specifically a gentleman who I respect and admire, Ray Cingolini. I have offered Jeff Cunyon to come on the Dog and Paulie show via phone from New York to give his side of the story. We'll wait and see what his answer will be, but he may likewise join us to give his side of the story. You know that big editorial? You read it? He got worked over pretty hard, and my only attitude here is to give Jeff an opportunity, equal time, to rebut, if that's what he wants to do. Well, by the way, let's go through this now and talk about what FingerLakes1.com has for this week. It takes the time to do it, but let's do it. Today, of course, you got the Weber on Sports Show getting ready to wrap up. Tonight, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be in Newark carrying Newark Pilot Baseball. Brendan Harrington, myself, will be in the booth broadcasting the game with our cast of characters. Tomorrow's kind of a laid-back day. I'll be checking out some action down at the golf club, getting ready for our presentation on Thursday. Then Wednesday, we go back into the fire. We go back to Newark to watch highly touted, league-leading Amsterdam come to town. Why is that significant? It means a lot to me personally, and I hope to Dave Barnick. It will rekindle the Dave Barnick and the Dog, H. Weber, Dave Barnick, broadcasting sports. I hired Dave back in the early 70s. I have not worked a game of any sort of any sport with Dave Barnick for, I'm guessing, 13 to 15 years. We will be reunited. FingerLakes1.com, Dave Barnick, the Dog, H. Weber, broadcasting the Amsterdam Newark Pilot game Wednesday night. Thursday, it doesn't get any easier for us. Jimmy Seneca will be down at the club early Thursday morning getting us set up. We'll be on there from 10 o'clock until 3:30, around 3:30 or 4 o'clock. We're going to be showing you leaderboards. We're going to show you a video. We'll do interviews. We'll have a lot of fun covering the New York State Women's Am and Mid-Am. So a lot going on. Friday, myself and Jim will crash and burn along with the rest of the crew. And by the way, I have to bring up this as a dog public service announcement. As I drive around the highways and byways of the Finger Lakes, I am noticing you staying on your cell phone while you're driving. I have brought this up many times, and this has nothing to do with the world of sports, but it's my number one pet peeve. Why do you think it's okay to talk on a cell phone while you're driving? It is against the law. Let me repeat that. It is against the law. If you're watching my show and you have a daughter or son or you or your wife or your grandmother, grandpa, and you know they talk on the phone while driving, please have them stop. You're going to hurt yourself or me or someone else. It's going to happen. And I love when I look at people who are on the phone at stoplights. They act like that I'm picking on them by yelling at them to get off the phone. It's number one pet peeve of H. Weber's long, storied history. It drives me nuts. It is the number one problem that I have watching people drive down the road and on the phone. Folks, cell phones, if you really are that concerned about messages, pull over into a parking lot. It takes what? And I'm the least technical guy you'll ever meet in your life. What's it take? 12 seconds to go get your messages? Get off the phone. It's embarrassing. And I'm telling you right now, I'm warning you if you're checking me out. I'm going to start grabbing your license plate and I'm going to call the local cops, and maybe they have the guts to send you a warning letter. It is out of control. Every day I see 25 to 30 people on their cell phones driving cars. It is out of control. Get off the phone. It's against the law. Okay, I got that off my chest. So join us tonight. Newark Pilot Baseball coming your way against Watertown. We hope that you'll join us. As usual, folks, thanks to my great sponsors for making this show possible. You have a great day, and come on down to the Seneca Falls Country Club. Check out the 83rd edition of the New York State Junior Women's Am and the Mid-Am. Take care, everybody. That's a look at sports. Plus, the dog had to vent on those cell phones. My way.